she wasn't just hanging up on my friends.
Yeah.
But she was indicating to me, get off.
I have to say, there is something lost in getting in an argument on the phone and being able to slam that receiver.
Slam it down.
Raising a well-behaved child in this world requires strict discipline and punishment. Today, we will look...
No, we will not.
And welcome to Childproof. I'm Gwenna Lathland.
And I'm Tori Phantom. Today's episode goes out to everyone who is unwilling to let go of their nostalgia.
Even when the kids call it cringe.
Especially when the kids call it cringe.
So today's episode got started because I found an article about retro parenting.
Another parenting style name.
This is not a parenting style. It's a parenting trend. It's slightly different.
Okay. All right. Well, before you tell us about that, let's start the timer.
Let's start the timer. Okay. So The Guardian put out this article that was, they're calling it retro parenting. It's probably a generous term. Basically, millennials, specifically millennials, are sort of choosing to revert back to their 90s upbringing. This is a quote from the article in The Guardian. What I long for isn't a time machine, but a nice blend. The laid-back spirit of 90s parenting with the emotional awareness and knowledge we have today. Millennials are just incorporating their nostalgia into their parenting. One guy referenced in the article built a miniature Blockbuster in his spare room just for the thrill of going in and like picking out a movie and selecting some snacks and like intentionally sort of unplugging from all the wireless devices and having this like unifying experience. I know, like I'm incredibly jealous.
I love that so much.
The article interviewed a woman named Jess, who was a teacher and is now lucky enough, privileged enough to be able to be a full-time mom at home mom. And she said one of the reasons Jess left teaching was because she was disillusioned by the direction of education away from play-based fun toward a more results-driven system. So retro parenting isn't like what the trend is not emotionally abandon your children and just tell them to be home, you know, when the street lights come on, which is how many of us were raised as millennials. But no, it's more we did have the internet, but it took 20 to 30 minutes. And if someone needed to use the phone, we had to get off. So we spent a lot more time playing Phase 10 and Uno than we did whatever online games were existing.
Right.
Which weren't many.
You go into MS.
Do you remember the ski game? Where the abominable snowman, if you like tripped on the rock, he'd come and eat you. It was a Microsoft game.
Yeah. Do you remember the Microsoft game, the pinball?
Yes, that was the best pinball. I have tried so many times to like recreate that nostalgic dopamine that I got from the MS pinball with like apps on my phone. Doesn't work the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same thing. It's not.
Also, I'm pretty sure those games are just like, I definitely hit that ball and you shot it straight. That was code, not me. I didn't do anything wrong. You shot that ball straight down the center of those flippers.
Right. Or do you remember back in those days when you needed technology in the classroom? So you would just, your whole class would go to the computer lab.
We had, so at my school, we had the Jostens lab, which was sponsored by Jostens, which was a company that did like rings and class rings. And
do they still do that?
I think so.
Huh.
I don't know.
Good for them.
But we had the Jostens lab, and those were PCs. And then we got a grant for a Mac lab. So we had in my elementary school an entire room with those adorable little candy colored bubble Macs. And actually no one wanted to go to the Mac lab because Oregon Trail was not on the Mac lab, but it was on the PC.
No, it's so funny you say that because like when I started in school, our classrooms would have one of those like I don't even know what kind of computer it was, but
I think
like
it's called an iMac.
We had the thing of floppy disks, the little cart of the floppy disks, and you could plug that in, and that was like you would do it at station time.
Are you old enough to remember the floppy, or were they the hard disks by then?
Okay, no, they were floppy. I
don't know when we jumped from the floppy to the hard disks.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
I started.
There are some things that like
96, 97 is when I started school.
I was starting middle school then.
Yeah. But
just as a reminder of Tori and I's age gap.
Yeah. We had the computer lab, and that is one thing that I miss for the new generation of kids who are growing up on technology.
The intentionality of getting onto it.
And the computer skills. I had to teach my kiddo how to properly shut down a computer. No, you don't just hold the power button down. Don't do that. And
that's a hard restart.
Yeah, we don't do that unless there's a real issue. But then there was also the typing skills with the skins and like the program. And I watch my kiddo type, and my kid's like, I type fast. Why do you say so? I'm like, because you have to look. Why does it matter? Because it slows you down. And
what is this claw thing happening with your hands, dear? You have 10 fingers and all of them work. You're lucky in this. Why are we typing with these 5?
Like, do you see the little dots on your F and your J key? That's home base. Can we learn to? But that's times have changed. But
times have changed.
When I was in high school, we got a grant for the Mac lab. And we got an iMac lab, and so this was like 2007 or so. And the problem was none of us knew how to use the Mac. So what we all did is we figured out how to do the reverse thing where it would turn the Mac into the PC setup, because none of us knew how to turn on a right click. And back then, you had to turn on a right click on the Mac.
Yeah. I really miss that you had to intentionally choose to engage with tech, because you had to power everything on. You might have to like go to channel 3 to get stuff. Now everything is at a touch of a button, and that is convenient. I'm not trying to say it was better back then. It's significantly better now.
Oh yeah.
But what it means is we have constant access to it. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to work for it. And it's the same thing as like snacking. You will snack a whole lot more on stuff that you didn't have to prepare. But if you get out a carrot and you cut carrot chips, even though you could just bite the carrot off like Bugs Bunny, if you cut the carrot chips, you eat less than if you had pre-prepared. If you intentionally get onto the tech.
You got a big bag of chips. If you just eat out of the bag, you're going to end up eating more than if you put a handful in a bowl. Yeah.
Right. So there's an intentionality behind all of those choices. We have lost that sort of ability to intentionally choose, because I run an entire business and waste a lot of my own time on the same device.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you remember when we used to say BRB?
We don't still say that?
We never leave.
We just ghost for a while. No, but as far as the nostalgic parenting, getting out of our own nostalgia, because that doesn't help us parent our kids in a nostalgic way, I really do like, I'm really attracted to. First of all, I have had the best time as my youngest are getting old enough to begin to consume some of this media. I am showing them classics, my favorites, the ones that still hold up. Like, I was a huge Fern Gully fan as a kid, rewatched it as an adult. I was like, oh, that one was rough. That one didn't hold up very well. Incredibly dated. All right.
That's how I felt about The Little Rascals and Homeward Bound.
Yeah, incredibly dated. But no, we showed the Disney classics, and my kids loved all of those. That was pretty easy. All Dogs Go to Heaven and Land Before Time. Those were staples of my childhood. That was a pass for the kids.
Yeah, I won't show my kiddos Land Before Time. Too sensitive.
Listen,
we're good.
I know I'm not a terribly sensitive person in the first place, so that should be stated. I did show my kids Land Before Time. They were unaffected. I know a lot of people carry emotional trauma over tree stars. It wasn't like a massive, like, I cried a little.
For me, it's fine. For my littlest, I feel like it would be fine. My middleest, and we're good. We're good.
Has your middleest managed the Mufasa scene yet?
Yeah, that was when that scene was coming. I just crawled up next to her and just pulled her in my lap. I was like, you're gonna want to hug.
This is coming. It's fine. This is what's next.
She cried so hard that I started crying. So
But I do like that there is that connection when we're showing nostalgic movies. My kids loved The Matrix. I showed my kids Mrs. Doubtfire and they didn't really care for it, which I was shocked because that one really held up for me. In fact, watching it as an adult, that was watching an entirely different movie than the one I was watching as a child.
Yeah.
And there was also a large amount of time that I was like, oh, that joke is not okay. That did not age well.
There's so much that's problematic about this whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for me. I was super excited because we went through an entire Good Burger phase in my house. And like,
welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Dude,
if there's not four O's,
we're all doing
in order.
Yeah. But that was, because I don't know if you knew this, Good Burger 2 came out. Like over 20 years later, Good Burger 2 came out. And my hopes were below the floor. Like the bar was buried. I was like, why are we doing this? They made it so, I love it. That movie was not for the kids. It was for us. And it is so nostalgic. Like it is not taking itself too seriously. It is an actual sequel with the actual actors. And it is a nostalgia glory zone. Like my kids didn't understand parts of it because it was meant to be nostalgic. And like we got an orange soda moment, which isn't even Good Burger, but it was important and we got it.
Yeah.
So that was an exciting one. I was shocked how much I enjoyed that movie, but that is a lot of Nickelodeon stuff has been the nostalgia that I get to share with my kids. That's actually, we call it, I guess that's kind of retro parenting here. We call it 90s afternoon, 90s kid day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do this where we don't use any touchscreen stuff. We pretend it's not a Wi-Fi situation and we put SpongeBob on in the background. And we go and look at something and see, like, play with a stick. I have a bunch of like those old 90s toys. Like, you remember they have the little
the water puzzles?
And then you do, the kids love those. Or like
for
those things where
for those of you not
it.
watching on video, we're both like mashing our thumbs into invisible water buttons on video.
Like, that's
that one.
Or those things that you flip them and then the bubbles and the glitter
bubbles.
and stuff. And my kids saw one of those. I have one of those. They're like, what do you do with this? And I'm like, you just look at it.
You just look at it.
And then what?
Hours
until you get
spent.
bored. What do you do when you get bored? Look at something else. 90s kid.
I had a Where's Waldo confetti wand. So it was one of those long glass tubes with red, white, and blue little bits of glitter and tinsel and flat beads, and inside was a tiny plastic Waldo. So you'd flip it a whole bunch of times and then you could endlessly find Waldo, because when you'd flip it a whole bunch of times, the glitter would all move and it would re-hide Waldo.
Yeah.
So many hours. I handed that to my kids. They made it 5 minutes. They're like, I'm done. I found Waldo. Find him again. Why? Because that's what you do.
That's what it is.
You find him and then you lose him and then you find him and you keep doing that.
Yeah.
But I got it. What do I do next? You do it again.
You do it again. You do it again. Like, I don't know.
You just keep doing that. We played with Slinkies. It doesn't do anything. It's a spring.
When I was a
We're
kid,
not even the first generation to play with that useless spring. We keep doing it.
It's still fun. It's still fun until you ruin it. When you get like a good one and then it gets bent. When I was a kid,
candle is in there.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. Get a new Slinky.
Done. Throw it out.
I got so bored once and I saw
recycle it.
something. I got so bored once. I saw it on some TV show, some weird Nickelodeon thing. They would put like videos up, that somebody had to put on a VHS tape and then mail. And then they would they would show these videos, and I saw that someone had squirted milk out of their tear duct, like out of their eye. And I was like, I could do that. And so I can squirt milk out of my eye. That's the thing I learned to do in the 90s when I was bored.
I cannot do that. But before we had all of these like awarenesses that people's joints can be hypermobile, I discovered that I have a hypermobile shoulder by popping it out of socket at will. Didn't hurt, never bothered me as a child.
It does now, I bet, but it does now.
Now as an adult, sometimes my shoulder just falls out. I didn't do anything. It just bloop.
What a fun feature.
Stupid human tricks. We spent a lot of time, but I did start encouraging my kids to stupid human tricks. My son, for whatever reason, wants to be able to have chameleon eyes. I used to be able to do that. It gives me a headache now if I try, but I used to be able to move my eyes in different directions independently of one another.
Yeah.
So he wants to learn how to do that. So he's like, how do you do that? I was like, this is how I practiced for hours and hours and hours in front of the mirror.
Literally the amount of time in front of the mirror, I learned how to flip my eyelids inside out, which I could, and then I learned how to turn my tongue upside down.
Upside down.
And if you're watching the video, I'm going to do that now.
As I used to be able to, I can't. I used to be able to do the triple loop in your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can only do it one time.
But that's what we would do.
But,
and there's no reason to do it other than to just,
but I have encouraged my kids. My kids are currently, we started this summer. We've started 2 different things. We've started with my daughter and I a nail polish swatch pile. So on the corner of her dresser, every time she gets her nails painted, which right now she's 6, so that's either
every 3
7
days?
times in a day or every 3 months. That's how the nail polish works. But every time we put a coat of nail polish on, you take a single pass, you dip it real good, you take a single pass and you just swipe right on top of the old one. And eventually you get this like mound of acrylic. Why do we do this? I don't know. Who started doing this? I don't know. But every single one of my friends from 1992 to 1999, we had this growing swatch of all the nail polishes we coated our fingers with. So she is now doing that. And my son and actually the whole family are very excited for the rubber band ball. We sit there, we watch TV, adding rubber bands to the rubber band ball.
I had the best rubber band ball in my entire school when I was in the 4th grade. That thing was this big and you could bounce it. Like, oh, I'm going to start a rubber band ball here. That's no, do you know what I've started doing that I think is a lot of fun and every parent should do it? Because I think we had talked about it either on an episode or on one of our pre-shows, is that when your kid runs up and they go, watch this. And then they just spin and it's like, okay. And they're like, no, I messed it up. Are you watching? And so I was like, I said, I'm going to,
it's just like a weird body spasm.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to try that. I want to do that to my kids. And so now it is now a thing that just happens in my house where I will run up to one of my children and go, watch this. And then I jump up and I do like a spin and it's not impressive at all. And I jump and I do a spin and I'm like, and then I give them that look of like, you know, what did you think? And they kind of, at the first time, every one of my kids that I did this to, all 3. And I would go, did you see, wait, hang on, I messed up. And I would do it again. And then, did you see that? And then I do it again. And all of them went, I could do that better. And then did it.
Including the teenager?
Yep.
So
let's do it. It's fun. That's 90s kid style.
That over the summer, there was a lot of talk. There's a company and the company's come under a little bit of fire, but basically they're encouraging the installation of these landline based phones. They're basically walkie-talkies because they only reach so far. And part of the issue that this particular company has, and I forget what its name is, but part of the issue is unless you pay for the plan, the monthly plan, the kids cannot use that phone to call outside the little network, which means it looks like a phone and acts like a phone, but in an emergency, you wouldn't be able to call your mom at work or your guardian at work, and you wouldn't be able to call 911 with something that otherwise looks, acts, and functions like a phone. And so that's that particular company is maybe not. But all that said, real landlines still exist, and I am seriously considering. I was among the first crop of cable cutters, of cord cutters. I ditched cable, I ditched satellite, I ditched landline. The internet was everything. It was providing everything I needed. I could get digital phone, and I don't even have a digital phone anymore. I could get all of those things from my internet provider for cheaper. Fast forward dang near 20 years, and I'm like, no, I'm thinking about going back to cable, and I might just install a landline.
Yeah, I had a landline longer than most people because I worked for a cable company for quite some time and it was free. But I did. I had like the cable internet phone thing, and I kept my landline for a long time. I think until I moved to Kentucky, because there is a benefit to it.
Go ahead. It just occurred to me something that I have to tell you on the podcast. Go ahead.
Okay. But I think that is a thing is there is something about wanting to contact your friend and not wanting to use mom's phone or give out mom's number or like, but we don't want our kids to have phones. And it's like, I used to call my friends' houses and you'd hello, mister, can I talk to, is this person here? And then you would just wait on hold. And then you get to talk to your friend.
A couple weeks ago, I don't remember exactly when, we were discussing how you handle your teenager and your other two kids as they age. You guys have a house phone, which is a cell phone that can go to anyone. So they can give out this particular phone. So it's like a landline, but it is still a wireless phone. You still have some access to. So like if your friend says, I posted on Facebook, you can get on the general Facebook and look at this post, but you don't get your own Facebook. We share this family phone. Guess who else supports the Tori Phantom's landline concept for cell phone usage?
Who?
Kylie Kelsey, who, for Tori's sake, is the wife of a sports ball player. And that sports ball player's brother is dating Taylor Swift.
So, okay. Yep, I know Taylor Swift.
A famous person kind of linked to everyone else. You guys know who Kylie Kelsey is. For Tori, it is a famous person who orbits Taylor Swift's circle, and you know Taylor Swift.
I know who Taylor Swift is. I do.
Kylie Kelsey is genuinely a really fun, entertaining human being.
I just don't know who anyone is. Like, sorry, friends. Right. This isn't.
Tori
I
doesn't
live under
follow
a
pop
rock.
culture.
I don't. I could tell you about Hamilton, both the musical and the actual
and
person.
Hamilton.
Oh, I do know Scamilton.
So yeah,
does Kylie Kelsey like Hamilton?
I am unclear on Kylie Kelsey's stance on Hamilton, but she does also agree. I think she called it something else, but it's the same concept there is a shared cell phone that if you need to leave the house, and my husband and I have absolutely agreed that's what we're doing, but we are also thinking about adding a landline where if you're in the house, you're not using the cell phone. Your friends can call the landline and you can take the phone in your room. We're not going to like strap you to the wall with a cord like we had. We're not, torturing you where you have to be like, oh my God, my mom can hear. Shut up.
See, you were an only child, right? So you don't know about this part of it. But when you had siblings and you were on the home phone, if you had like a corded phone and then cordless or a couple phones, no, they just pick up the phone and listen to your conversation and eavesdrop. And you could hear it. You'd be like, is someone else on this? Hang on. Don't tell mom.
So my mom would pull this stunt because we had a corded phone, but we had one of the 16-mile corded phones where it was like all nangled. I went to say gnarled and tangled, and I came up with nangled, and I am not mad at the existence of that word. I might have just invented a new word.
I'm here for
when
it.
When the phone cord that's all corely cute.
Yeah. It's a good thing we talk for a living. Curly cords.
There you go. When they get all ratted up, that's called narn. What the hell did I say?
Nangled.
There you go. Nangled. So we would have one of those, and I would have to like wander around the corner, and like you'd get the wire maze going from where you like wrapped it around stuff accidentally. My mom would tell me it was time to get off the call by just walking over and clicking the little latch in the phone cord so the hand receiver would disconnect from the base. The phone wouldn't hang up, but I would then have to untangle myself from the wandering, plug it back in and go, my mom said I have to get off the phone. So like she wasn't just hanging up on my friends, but she was indicating to me, get off.
I have to say, there is something lost in getting in an argument on the phone and being able to slam that receiver.
Slam it down.
No,
it doesn't quite feel the same. You know what? F you too.
I spent way too much money on this. I will press this very gently. I laughed so hard because I brought my child and we went to Philadelphia recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the hotel and we're getting ready for one of her appointments, something like that. And so she goes over and she's playing and she goes and she picks up the hotel phone and she puts it up to her ear. And then I watch her kind of like whip her head and like look nervous. And I was like, what's going on? And she goes, did I break it? Did I do something? She heard a dial tone for the first time in her life. She'd never heard a dial tone. And so when she picked it up and it went, she's like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Is it calling someone? And I'm like, oh, dial tones. We don't hear that anymore. We used to spend money on ringback tones. Like,
yeah, we talked about last week, raising teenagers to be independent. That's another one of those sort of retro parenting. Anytime I had to write a check from the time that my child was old enough to legibly be able to write that, I had them make the check out. So write the digits here, spell it. And sometimes I would have to spell them for them because, when you're in pressure, you forget how to spell thousand. Not that I was writing $1,000 checks very often, but it is for children's stuff. But
honestly,
like I would help them write it out, write who it was to. I would show how when it says remit payment, that means that's what you write on this line. Like I would walk them through the littles. First of all, everything's online now, so checks are really, really, really dying. But I do still have to pay my city checks, and I make them actually write it down, which feels very retro, but it's the same way of, man, sometimes you just got to pick up. So this is a dial tone. This is a busy signal. You know, the ring, boop, boop. That means they're on the other line, and maybe try back later. Like it's the same as teaching cursive. Yeah. If we don't teach them cursive, people will stop writing in cursive. Companies will stop printing things in cursive, and it will just die in the same way that cuneiform does.
Is I think that cursive is a really important thing. I don't think it is as serious as some folks make it out to be, in my personal opinion. My my middleist has learned cursive in school, and she really enjoys writing in cursive. But the funniest part to me is the argument of like, but if they don't learn to read and write in cursive, they can't read old documents, and that's important. And yes and no, because I read a lot of old documents. They're primary sources. I have the Declaration of Independence hung up on my wall. What's funny is they write in script, not cursive as much, but in those old documents, this is literally, my brain just went here, and I need you to know this.
The handwriting is half the problem. Some of it is just the language they use.
And back then, half the time, they would put what we consider to be an F in the places of S's. But the fun part of this for me is I read a lot of original documents. I like to read them as if they were F's. Because
whether they are supposed to be or not.
Yeah, I know that's an S, but it's really funny to read the Constitution. But learning cursive, you have to also learn the layer of the historical document and how to read those. So, but I think there's a lot of stuff that just isn't relevant anymore.
Well, one of the things that I am sad about is because of the shift to how we consume media. Again, I'm not saying that we should 100% go back to the 90s.
No.
Not everything was better in the 90s. Things were arguably way worse in the 90s in many aspects. We have made some improvements, but there are certain things like afternoon cartoons. Man, I wish afternoon cartoons just came on. I have now, this year, I've started recreating afternoon cartoons when my husband is the one who goes to pick them up from the bus stop because my children ride the bus. My husband picks them up from the bus stop. When he leaves, I stop what I'm doing and I make them a snack and I turn on YouTube and I find some cartoon of some sort. Sometimes it's Looney Tunes. Sometimes it's Sparkalicious. Sometimes it's some Reading Rainbow or Bob Ross. But I will find some sort of mindless, occasionally it's occasional. I am a podcaster by trade. Speak English. It's my native language. Learned it since birth. Leave that part in there. Just leave all of my not talking like a normal human being in there.
You got it.
But I will. Sometimes it's educational. Sometimes it's just mindless. But I have recreated you get in, you just dump your bag on the floor, you kick the shoes off wherever, you grab your granola bar and you're just watching LeVar Burton read you a book.
Yeah.
You do that for 30 minutes and then, okay, now get your binders out. Let's go through your homework pile. Go put your shoes where it goes. Let's start getting ready for the other stuff. But like that 30 minutes of decompression revolutionized how bad the post-restraint collapses. And that's where they're
we've been doing
they're
that
holding it all in.
Yeah. We've been doing that for a while, but I think the difference is that you just got to that age again. Whereas I've been in the thick of it for longer. Yeah.
Well, and then with my oldest, I was not a mom from home mom. I had a job outside the home. So when she got off school, she got that little 30 minutes of decompression time at the daycare or at the caregiver or at my mom's, or like I wasn't the one handling the immediate after school because I was at my big girl job.
Yeah. That's I do think that there is something about having it already on that is I really like that. I might start doing that because when you explain to young children now how commercials didn't used to come with a skip button.
Tubi has solved that for us. Tubi is an app. It's on our television and it has commercials. You can't get out of the commercials. They have a bunch of really nostalgic shows. We watched Kindergarten Cop with commercials. And that was the moment where I had to explain my kids. They're like, can we skip this? Actually,
no. It's your time. Listen, I'm going to stay here. I will let you know when it comes back on. You run to the bathroom. You run and get a snack. Run. You got 2 minutes. This is how we do it.
Your options are go do the whirlwind pee snack, get your blanket, go get your hoodie back on, or learn about this new drug to treat erectile dysfunction, kids.
The side effects only take up the last entire minute and a half of the 2-minute commercial.
And you did hear right. One of those potential side effects is death. The thing that's supposed to make you better could also kill you.
But don't worry, because these are really happy people at a park. And look there's a dog.
Anyway, drug ads should be illegal.
Yeah, that's
just
a whole different.
Throw that out there.
It's a whole different podcast.
I don't even think we do that podcast yet.
I would. We with the old shows, we watch a lot of them through streaming services, and we really we went through an entire phase of old sitcoms this summer. My kids really got into all that and Kenan and Kel and all of
that. All that
my kid got really into the Amanda Show and was like, can we go to amandaplease.com? And I was like, no, it just redirects to Nickelodeon now. And even back then it was not it was back on the old internet, so it wasn't fun. We would go to it and it was exciting, but then it didn't work, And then
because almost nothing on the internet worked then.
Yeah. And then she was watching all that and she pauses it and she calls and she's, Mom, look at this. this cast member, her name is Amanda. And then she looks like Amanda from the Amanda. And I think it's the same person. And I was like, it's the same person.
It's the same person.
Yes. But yeah. I do enjoy doing that. But I think I have this theory about kids' toys nowadays. You notice it's like all the popular stuff, it's all blind bags. No matter what you get, it's filled with blind bags in it. So like, oh, you're going to get this stuffed animal and it comes with all these surprises. Oh, here's this LOL.
And
you're going to get
one of them's always slime. Stop putting slime in the mystery bags. Stop putting slime in. It's always crappy slime. The kids don't like it because it's crappy slime. Stop putting slime in.
I know. It's the worst. Bags. But I have a theory about why this is why the toys are also popular. These kids
crashes out over slime.
It wouldn't be the first time. Gwenna really hates slime, if you didn't know.
I don't like slime.
But
that is in our power outage box. That's how rarely my children play with slime in the house. I may be depriving them of something
all the time. You lose power so much, so they're not deprived. Don't worry.
I know.
But I think that the reason that the blind bag type toys are so popular is because these kids are growing up in an age of instant gratification. We would have to wait a week to see what happens next. And if you missed the show, you can catch up on it over the summer during the reruns. And they can binge watch any single thing that they like at all.
The summer reruns.
Yeah. And that was, they get to pick what they watch when they want to watch it, and they can binge watch the whole series. Like for us, it was like you got one episode a week. Maybe you would,
and if
get
you
lucky.
Forgot what happened,
maybe you would be lucky if you found it in syndication somewhere. But I think they get to listen to what they want. Everything is on demand, and I think that it is fun to not have control over something, and that's why the blind bags are so exciting.
And it's also the surprise. Like there's a surprise element, and that gives such instant dopamine in a place where at least their parents are primed to need that instant dopamine. That's why we doom scroll. It's just a little dopamine slot machine human that we've been given. Yeah,
we like surprise, and I feel like there is. I'm interested to see, and I'm not even like talking badly about it. I am literally just interested to see what their experiences are as they continue to age because I feel like our youngest are really in that generation that is completely growing up with every instant gratification. Because even our teenagers, there wasn't as much. Smartphones were new when they were little.
Yes, but since you also have an age gap between your kids, my oldest didn't get a ton of screen time because she is 18 years old, and screens were financially inaccessible for a lot of people, myself included, when she was a child. Like the kids' tablets did not exist. You had regular tablets, and a few companies were making very expensive thick foam cases for the regular tablets. And I know that's still how it works. Like when you say your kid has an iPad, there's an iPad, but it is not as financially inaccessible, because if you can't afford an iPad, you might be able to afford a $35 on from the Walmart.
Yeah. Like there's levels of accessibility now.
Correct. And that didn't exist when Abby was little. My littles, however, got the benefit of all of those 2010 and early pandemic babies potentially going a little too much on the screen time exposure. We talked about the phone bans, but like we do need to critically look at how much screen time we are consuming for recreational purposes. Yes, we all work on. I'm staring at a screen as I'm working right this second. And I'm going to stop staring at this screen in just a second, and I'm going to stare at this screen for a while. And then when I'm done with this screen, I'm going to go to that screen over there.
Right.
So like, a lot of screens, but that means that for us, we have really started prioritizing non-screen entertainment every night, because everybody in my house who's a human can read now. My dogs cannot read, but all of the humans in my house can read. My littlest bedtime is 7:00. That's when they go to lay down. They're typically asleep by 7:30, and they're back up at 6:00 the following morning. That's why they go to bed so early, because my kids' school starts ridiculously early.
Same.
But from 6:30 to 6:45. At 6:00, we start doing PJs, cleaning up, picking out clothes, brushing teeth at 6:30. Every single member of the family who's in the house, because my 18-year-old is often out of the house for school events, but every member who's in the house from 6:30 to 6:45 picks up a book and reads. Right now, the girl child has decided she wants to read a book that is too advanced for her, but she doesn't care. She wants to read it anyway. So right now, one of us is just sitting right there. And when she gets to the word that she doesn't know, plight. So you see that one looks exactly like plate, but it has an F. Can you figure that out? Like that's where we're at with helping her.
Yeah.
But we're also big and we just introduced Uno. Uno is happening in the house now.
Oh, we love Uno. We love
Do you
Uno.
let your kids win?
Yeah. I do.
Now, I will not play unfair. And there are definitely times where I'm like, I could, but it would just be for fun. Like there isn't any strategy, like boost to that.
With
my oldest, will I do it just to bug her? Will I +4 just to, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no.
With my littles.
With my eldest, it's a different story if we're playing something together.
Yeah.
With my little ones, I make sure they know I could have won before I slyly swap a card with them so they can win.
I don't. Man, if you beat mom fair and square. Celebrate, buddy.
I do that with other things. Like my eldest has never beat me in a foot race, and I'm never gonna let them. Like they're so good at everything. I'm like, if you want to beat me in the foot race, you gotta run. You gotta run more.
When they beat you, it's because they legitimately could run faster and farther than their parent could.
When it comes to games that are for fun, I do let them win most of the time. If I win, it's usually by accident. And they know that I'm doing it. So it's like they're in competition with each other and they just get mom to play there too. And it's funny though, because sometimes it goes wrong, right? Because that's the thing. We talk about being good winners and good losers. And, you know, I have my whole thing with them. If we are upset that we lost, I say, well, if all you want to do is win, go flip a coin. You'll win half the time. Like that's the point of the game is playing. If all you wanted to do is win, well, now the game is over. It's not fun anymore because we can't do it anymore. But we play a lot of board games in my house, and we also play a lot of family video games. So we did Mario Kart a lot for a while, but right now we are into Mario Party. But Mario Party, no matter how hard I try, like I cannot let them win because Mario Party at the end of the game, it randomly hands out stars. So you could be in last place and come in first place. And that happened just the other day. I was like literally in last place. And I won the game.
That is my least favorite part of Mario Party. No, I don't mind if you, for like a little setting.
I kind of love it.
No, I hate it.
Because the point of the game is to play it. So who cares who won? It doesn't matter. At the end of the game, it's like, okay, well, who cares? It's nonsense. The whole game is nonsense. But what we started doing, because it's not a game you can play in teams, we're not playing all together. What we've started doing is, okay, it's say me and my two youngest that we're playing against a bot. Well, now all of us, we have a common enemy. It doesn't matter who won.
Of the bot.
So long as Waluigi doesn't win, we will celebrate. Like that's how we approach it now.
I dislike it because a lot of times some of those games you like really put effort into it and you like won every time fair and square. Everyone was trying. You did great. And then boom, I won even though you busted your butt to earn all of those stars. And I was just randomly gifted some stars. Listen, we've got a lot of unfair things already happening and we have to learn to deal with things that are unfair. We have to learn to deal with things that are random and we have to learn how to appreciate that. It was the journey, not the destination, right? We don't have to learn that everywhere. Dang it, I won.
That's fair.
Not every moment needs to be a teachable moment. I won that. So what we do when we play Mario Party is before it determines a winner, we look at it right before it does that star handout. That's who won. It doesn't matter whose avatar did the little dancey dance. We just know that, okay, the boy child won today. Yay!
Right. That's in Mario Kart, I don't let them win. Like Mario Kart, you guys could put on the auto steer, you could put on the auto accelerate. But here's the thing, my littlest, cleans house now. I don't know how she's better than everybody, and we're good.
Yeah, I used to be able to I can still outplay my oldest on Minecraft. And so I went in all cocky and confident to my 6-year-old son, who then stomped the floor playing Minecraft tag on me. I was like, oh,
I don't even know what that is.
Shut up.
I don't know what Minecraft tag is. It's a game I've never gotten into. Okay. I've never gotten into Minecraft because I can't, my eyes do not process it.
He's quick. How are your thumbs moving that fast, dude? How'd you even find me? Are you cheating? You're looking at my screen, aren't you? Like, I'm back to 3rd grade because my 6-year-old is stomping me.
Yeah, no, I used to play World of Warcraft. I spent like 5 years of my life on World of Warcraft, and I'm thinking about going back, honestly. I miss World of Warcraft.
Do it.
And now my eldest, I'm like, we could
listen,
level up together.
I was there for your Sims rephase. Do it.
Yeah, like for the Horde. If you're for the Alliance, you're wrong. So I'm considering it, but it's funny because back in those days, I was like, because my parents didn't understand anything, and of course the technology was different.
After talking about screen-free times, let's talk about all the video games.
Yeah. But back then, you know, you would have to go to the midnight release, and then you would have to put in the 4 different discs, and it would take 10 hours to download, and then you would have separate programs to be able to talk to your friend. You'd have like Vent. And I was like, my parents didn't get any of it. And I was like, I'm never going to be like that. I am going to stay up to date with technology. No, my kid has to explain Google Classrooms to me. Like, I don't, because you don't realize as you're getting older, like, oh, I have way different priorities now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then there's just like, I swear there was actual brain capacity. I cannot hold any more tech information in my head, and it's changing so fast. That's not an excuse. I do have a responsibility to learn the things, especially as they impact my kids.
Yeah. I try my best.
I get that. But speaking of midnight releases, that was our timer. Screw the timer. I'm going to tell you about the midnight releases.
All right, please do.
So speaking of midnight releases, I miss the midnight release time, but I'm also entirely too old to do the midnight release time.
Yes.
I am pretty sure that to debut Thinky Thoughts, I am thinking about doing a midnight release party with an independent bookstore here in my hometown. Like whole 9 yards.
You should do like a slumber party type of thing because everyone is old.
It will start at like 9 o'clock. And so if you're that's way past your bedtime, it will start at 9 o'clock. We'll do some trivia, just generic trivia, not even Mama Cuss's Thinky Thoughts
I might
trivia.
Fly out
we'll
to
do
Oklahoma
some trivia
for that. That would be fun.
We'll do some trivia. We'll hang out. You know, we might do like a pop-up tent contest where how quickly can you get this pop-up tent up? Because you remember the old midnight releases, folks have their little pop-up tents. Their little camper chairs.
I went to a midnight release for Eclipse from the Twilight series for the book. I also went to the movies, but I loved the book midnight releases because then you're like with your fellow nerds. It's so fun. There's a community experience with a midnight release. And I'll
encourage, within reason, keeping in mind that this is a small independent bookstore, but like, bring your cosplays like you used to cosplay for movie openings. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't.
Yeah.
We're thinking Thinky Thoughts. All of them work. Break out that old Obi-Wan Kenobi costume and come to my book opening.
Come to Oklahoma and I will wear my Founding Father costume. Got it. It's done.
We could live record a Founded together.
That would be so fun.
And a bibliophage and a childproof, but whatever. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I have if you're listening to this part, if you didn't wander off, none of this is, I'm not officially announcing this. This is just ideas, but yeah, keep an eye out because I really think I'm going to try to do a whole
that would be so
shebang of a midnight release party
and if
in
we
conjunction
make it
with one of the local.
If Gwenna could make it happen and the timing works out, I will be there in a Founding Fathers costume. So that would be fun.
Anyway, my book Thinky Thoughts drops in April of 2026. Please pre-order it. The link is in the show description.
Please do. I don't have my advanced reader's copy yet, but I have.
No one has an advanced reader's copy.
I know that. I figure it's just not ready yet, but I have
read
several of excerpts because we're friends and Gwenna has sent me stuff.
No, listen. This is a flex and I'm pulling it out. I made Tori Phantom cry. Tori Phantom is easy to make cry, but only about their kids. Tori Phantom is not easy to make cry on written material. I made Tori Phantom cry. The like emotional tears, not like I made them sad because I said something mean. Not that kind of crying.
Yeah, not that kind of crying. No, that from the book, from the excerpts that I read. Go pre-order it. Go pre-order it.
All
and
right.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Childproof and for your support on all of our podcasts. Check out Bibliophage and Founded. They're really great. We have a lot of fun.
We have some exciting news coming up about all 3 podcasts. I know we keep saying that. We continuously have exciting news about the podcasts, all right?
I'm so excited.
So stay tuned. And we do still need you to leave a rating, a review, make sure you're following, turn on notifications, subscribe, and you get some bonus content over on the Tube of You and the Spotify. You get a whole like pre-show, which is just basically us FaceTiming.
It's a FaceTime. Things get pretty strange quite frequently.
We
and
almost always talk about vajujus. I don't know why.
I don't know why we
keeps
always
coming up into.
Yeah.
We just always end up in flesh tunnels. I don't know why.
But we want to hear from you. Not about that. Email us, childproofmail@gmail.com, and let us know how you feel about retro parenting or just anything else you want to tell us.
And remember, sometimes our kids are the assholes.
And sometimes it's us. And that kink in the slinky.
The phone cord
when
nangling.
Your Tamagotchi dies.
Or you throw it across the room because it won't stop beeping at you.
While you're crying on FaceTime with your friend.